I love living in Florida. And because I'm lucky enough to live near the coast, there's never a shortage of beautiful places to explore. And I've kind of made it my mission to seek out incredible experiences, discover things I've never seen before, and share what I learn along the way with you. Now, I know this beach might not look all that impressive at first glance, but I'm going to ask you to trust me. Today, we're going to have a really great time exploring Bunche Beach. This is what I would call a true locals beach. It probably won't make anybody's top 10 or even top 25 beaches for shells. But if you know what to look for, there is so much to see here and even more to learn. Now, this is the egg casing from a moon snail. The moon snail lays little eggs, kind of produces some gelatin, a little bit of sand, and it kind of makes this cool cocktail of eggs. And so, oh, look, there's some sand drawings by some little creatures. So those eggs will eventually just kind of become larvae and swim around. Here we have another creature. That is a bruised NASA. You can see its little siphon out in front. Okay, this guy wanted 2 seconds of screen time too, so we'll go ahead and let that creature say hi. So there's going to be so many fun things. There are going to be some seashells. I said this really wasn't a beach for shells, but there will be a couple of things for me to bring home. But for me, the exciting part is the critters. There's so much that is alive here that we're going to see. I've never seen something like that before. And I'm going to introduce you to micro shells. So if you're ready to see what all is out there for us today, let's go to the beach. Some videos are a little more fun to make than others. I am so excited for today. There are so many fun things. So this is a beat up lace murex with a long-wristed hermit crab. Now the hermit crab is definitely not had its coffee yet, so it's just going to hang out in the shell. Let's see, what do we have? Another little hermie. Yes, I know it's hard to see. There's a little claw, tiny little claw, just kind of sitting there. All right, so far no keepers as far as seashells, but we have a couple of critters right off the bat. Oh, there's a nice heron over there. Now, this is an egg casing of a pear whelk. I can tell by the size. They look just like lightning whelks, but they're a little bit smaller. And inside those little dark spots, those are little itty bitty baby snails of a pear whelk. The mother snail came along and anchored the bottom of that egg casing to something on the bottom. Normally this would all be covered with water, so it would be underwater, but because it's low tide, it is exposed. But that's how that kind of works. Now this is a rose petal talon. They come in pink and white. So this is the white variety. Absolutely lovely. They got a really strong hinge, those rose petal talons, unless you put them in bleach. Yeah, bleach will definitely ruin it. So here is a pear whelk. So if this was a female and laying eggs, this one was a little smaller. It wasn't. Oh, I see some creatures over on the right too. So the bottom right. So this pear whelk, you'll see the body is kind of behind it. It's white with like little black flecks on it. And the shell itself obviously has a little bit of algae and whatnot on it. And the critter is on the hunt. This is a predator, so it is hunting. And the other little snails, now I can't imagine it is a visual thing. I'd have to imagine it's more of a scent thing. So I do feel like everyone's kind of detecting each other. And I was kind of worried, not worried, but I mean, it's going to do what it's going to do. I was kind of wondering if that pear whelk was going to chase down those other snails. I sped this up a little bit because it was interesting to me. So just so we don't have to, oh, there's a whole little herd of them kind of trying to get away. All right, well, this predator, oh no, kind of still at it. But I do think that other little bruised NASA managed to get away. So I was curious what was going to happen. I think everybody fared just fine. Okay. Well, the heron decided to leave. All right, that was interesting. So the pear whelk and a bunch of little bruised nasses. What else is going to be here? Oh, isn't that pretty? Yeah, I do. I like the pink ones, although I do collect the white ones also. I'd really like to make the shell flower. I've been seeing a lot of those, and one of these days I'll get around to it. But love, gorgeous, gorgeous. Rose petal talon. Beautiful. All right, hermit crab. Yep, I can see it from here. Now it looks like a feisty one. Wonder if that's Brutus. Is that you, Brutus? No, you're just another little long-wristed hermit crab. It looks like a crown conch shell. I think that's what I'm holding. Yeah, they do that weird flicking thing. They almost all kind of do it. And you know, I've had pretty good luck so far. I have not been, pinched or injured in any way. So we're going to let Brutus on its way. All right, you go do your thing, you adorable little crab. Feisty little thing. Okay. So there is obviously a lot of things alive here. Now, originally I thought this was a coquina, but after further review, I believe this is a juvenile white rose petal talon. And it's foot. So that is what's kind of extending out the back of its shell, pushing it along, and we call that the foot. And then I do see a little siphon popping out the front. So it was interesting to see, to see it move, kind of do its thing. And not to be too much of a spoiler, it's going to bury itself. So I did hang around for a little minute. That is a rough way to move, man. So I guess, well, it's a clam. It's a talon. It's kind of like a clam. It's a bivalve. All right, I guess it's done doing its motion here. And so I was kind of, all right, there's a little hermit crab. Adorable. I mean, so tiny. There we go. Put my finger just so you can, I mean, tiny little shells, tiny little crabs. Very cute. Okay, and now here it goes. Now, interestingly, the rose petal talon doesn't sit in the sand vertically. It does kind of sit like horizontally. And it's just going to bury itself and hang out. I'm just going to watch it kind of, I guess that's that foot is doing. So in addition to having it be locomotive above the sand, it helps it bury itself. And granted, the sand here is very soft. And just like that, it tucks itself in. And it's gone. Bloop. It's gone. And then that made me think, whoa, how much other stuff is underneath the sand? So I know a lot, when you see those mounds, yeah, that's something under there. Something pushed that sand up. So there's a whole other world going on underneath the sand. And it fascinates me. It is. I think it's really interesting. All right, what next? What else are we going to see? Okay, so here is another egg casing. This is also from a pear whelk. And in there's little eggs. So there's hydrated. This one looks nice and good. And again, I was mentioning, Mama kind of anchors the bottom or the one piece of the egg casing to something so it stays buried. There was a couple out bird watching that I ran into, and they showed me this gorgeous lightning whelk. I don't know that I would have found it myself. It's like newbie luck, you know? So this is a live female because it's so big. The males don't get this big. Lightning whelk. And that is, I used to see these here all the time, and I'm really glad to see it again. And just for those of you that don't know, you may not take this. So it's not legal. You cannot take that from the beach. You're here in Lee County anyway. We do protect our live organisms. So not only is it not cool, it's not legal. We leave the live stuff at the beach. Okay, another rose petal talon. Considering that might be one of the only things I'm finding here, I definitely will be picking. Oh, that's so pretty. Yeah, it's like a little butterfly shell. Just beautiful. All right, so this is filled with a little long-wristed hermit crab again. Now that is a periwinkle. It's some sort of, I don't know, maybe a cloudy periwinkle. And it had tripped me up not too long ago at this beach. The shell, the shape didn't really, I don't find them that often, especially with zero color on it. Normally the color really kind of helps identifying the shells. And we'll just we'll grab that too. Now this, I thought was so cool. So I do believe this is a little Florida cone. Originally, I thought it might have been a dusky cone. The coloring's not right, but I could have it wrong. Just the periostracum, and there could be other little layers that are just kind of hiding the real markings of the snail. So it is little. So it could be either a dusky or a Florida. But it's alive, and I get to see it like moving around. A lot of times it's already just like half buried, and you pick it up, and you can see goo in the shell, but you can't actually see it kind of coming out. Cool. Yeah, lots of live stuff here at Bunche. This isn't necessarily a place I would say, yeah, definitely go here and find shells. Now, this is a banded tulip, and I believe it's eating something. And I can't exactly tell what is going on. So we see the operculum. I see a little bit of the animal's body. And I just, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's not laying eggs. We are going to see that too. But I think it's eating something. Yeah, I couldn't discern. Couldn't quite figure it out. And... oh, hermit crab. Okay. All right. Yeah, still don't know. But interesting. You see a banded tulip here. Oh, look at that. You know, I wonder, they must be everywhere here. The rose petal talons just buried underneath the sand. Because there were a lot of shells. I did manage to find a lot of those shells. And a lot. Yeah, I got a little resistance. That is a lot. A little hermit crab. So that is another live lightning whelk. And a moon snail egg collar. I don't know that I've ever seen the moon snail egg collars here at Bunche. I can't remember. Another pear whelk? I think it might be. Oh, look at that. A keeper of a pear whelk. Yeah, on a day like today, that is absolutely a keeper. A little date with some bleach and all will be well. Oh. Well, hi there. It's giving me the stare down. So we're looking at a hermit crab in a broken, I think it looks like a banded tulip. Okay. I'm leaving him alone. Yeah, he's looking like he wanted to rumble. They have pretty good eyesight, the hermit crabs, compared to, oh, another moon, or maybe that was the same one. Compared to some of the other, like snails don't have great eyesight, but those hermit crabs, they have pretty good eyesight. Rose petal talon, hermit crab, or critter. Yeah, hermit crab in a crown conch. All right. Looks to be, we also have big red hermit crabs and blue-eyed hermit crabs. I don't see them as often as I see the little ones. I don't know what the little ones are, but those long-wristed hermit crabs, those are also pretty popular. Pretty popular down here. Now that is a very slimy sunray Venus clam, and perhaps it was predated by a lightning whelk. Now lightning whelks do eat clams. They actually will use the edge of their shell to kind of pry open the clam shells. So it looks like I snagged another rose petal talon, and guess what? So that is a live dusky cone. Oh, that's cool. And that's what I mean usually when I see the live ones. They're just kind of like gummy. Like it's not really doing anything. That's kind of cool. I never got to see a live dusky cone. All right, another little thing checked off my things I've never seen list. All right, so these are the little vultures of the bay. Those are bruised nasas, and they go in, and that's what's like when your shells are nice and clean. You can thank the vultures for going in and cleaning them up. Oh, there's a little hermit crab. He wants in on the action. When I get a shell and it still kind of smells, or it's kind of, ooh, we're gonna get to that in a second. That marginella, I will bury the shell and let the ants take care of it. So those little vultures are they're cleaning up the shells. Very nice. I appreciate it. So this living marginella, which I've never seen before, I knew we were going to have time to talk about it because I've recorded it for quite a while. We can kind of see its body behind it. Now this shell is like maybe a little bit bigger than a quarter of an inch. I mean, it's tiny. And we can see its little, maybe all its antennas and its little siphon in the front of it. And it's just cruising along. I will, toward the end of the video, I will show you an empty one of these shells. Oh, it's so cute. Adorable little marginella. I just love their little antennas. They're so cute. That's really cool. So they almost look out, like I said, I'll show you. It's like a little baby cowrie. It does have some of those columella little folds in there. A sand dollar. Let's see. Is it a keeper of a sand dollar, or are we just going to check it out and leave it? Let's see. Oh, keeper. Definitely a keeper. Someone had asked me, I would say I find a sand dollar about 25% of the time. Like one out of every, maybe more. Like they're pretty common. Well, hi there, beach bowl. So this is a living giant Atlantic cockle. And you can't really see what's going on here, but it has a foot like that rose petal talon, like a big, almost looks like a tongue, but it also has a foot. Now this was just amazing. So we have a pear whelk egg casing. So that's what that long stringy thing is. And then we have a banded tulip, who is a gorgeous orange gorgeous banded tulip. But this banded tulip is laying eggs, and this mama has decided to attach it to the pear whelk egg casing. I have seen this before. A lot of the times I see the egg casings on seashells and on other things that, I don't know, I question why they chose that, but this makes a lot of sense to me because mama knew that this was another egg casing and that mom already anchored it. So it's kind of cheating in a really smart way. I don't know how that works. I don't know if the banded tulip was like, okay, babies are coming. And so it needs to figure out what to do right then and there. I don't know how long they have to kind of plan to where they're going to lay their eggs. So those little pink things you see in there, those are the eggs of the banded tulip. So she's attaching those to that other kind of looking, the pear whelk egg casing. I just thought this was wild. I've never actually gotten to see myself any of the snails lay eggs. And considering how much time I spend out there, yeah, really. And you can see the animal's body, really beautiful. It kind of reminds me of the crown conch. It's like it looks like a constellation, like it's black with little white flecks in it. But that was a very cool experience for me. I have a lot of footage of it. That was really, really cool. Man, that shell was orange. Beautiful. Okay, so when I find a nice clean crown conch, I can thank these little bruised nasses. There's probably a hermit crab in there too, but they just piled on. I guess if something, the shell is old and just kind of croaks from old age, I don't know. I guess those little predators are there to clean up, which I'm very grateful for. And you know what else I'm grateful for? Well, many, many, many things, but one of the things I would like to talk about are the Patreons that I have. So people choose to monetarily support me, and depending on what level you support me at, your name may be scrolling across the screen. But to everybody who watches, everybody who does support me, I thank you. Thank you doesn't seem like enough because it means so much to me, but I really mean it, and I really am grateful for all of the support you guys give me, whether it's a comment, just watching this video, putting a little like on there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now this is a horseshoe crab. No, just the carapace, just like the shell. Would that be a carapace of a horseshoe crab? I think it would be. And I happen to know somebody who makes things of these. I don't. I'm just not that creative. My creativity is saved for these videos and my smart aleck comments, but I'm going to save that little horseshoe crab. And you know what I was trying to, I was looking for angel wings. I came to Bunche Beach at low tide, and it was amazing. I found paired angel wings. Angel wings are bivalves, but the animal is what keeps the two shells together, unlike the sunray Venus clam. So this is two sunray Venus clam pairs, and the shell is actually hinged. The shell is attached. Angel wings don't do that. The animal is what keeps the two shells together. So I was here at Bunche Beach, and I was able to find the shells because they were still buried in the sand. The animal was long gone. Thanks so much, bruised NASA's. But here I'm collecting a couple. I happen to think that they're really pretty. Some of them, not all of them, but some of these sunray Venus clams can be quite lovely. So I figure I'll collect a couple of those while I'm at it. And goodness, I've been talking a lot. I think it is about time for me to be quiet and to give you all some beach time. Now, my favorite shell is the fighting conch. The fighting conch is probably one of the most common snail. Here is the snail with its shell. So this animal is not done with its shell yet. No, it's early. So I think that this snail only had like half of its coffee so far because it really, and I think they're called fighting conchs because of the way that they act. I mean, they do kind of come out swinging. And as much as I'd like to turn this to kind of face the sun, it doesn't have sunglasses. So I kind of feel bad about that. So in there, so we can see, all right, it's going to really start swinging. And this is what's really cool is we can see the whole terminology with gastropod. So gastro meaning stomach, pod meaning foot. So somebody named these critters stomach foot. And frankly, it kind of makes sense. There's not a whole lot to it. We have your two eye stalks, you have its proboscis, and you got its stomach foot. So gastropod. That is why we would call. Oh, and he's swinging a little bit more. Yeah, you definitely need more coffee. So this animal is very, very common, and it is my favorite shell. The variety of these shells is just incredible, and they're so common. So I don't know. They just delight me, as does the snail. Look at how cute. Yep, just like an elephant trunk, it's got its little proboscis and its eye stalk. Yeah, it's trying to get me off. So the operculum for this animal is that little sickle-looking thing at the end of its body. So it does have an operculum. It's not going to protect it that much. It probably, it probably makes it feel a little better. Like it actually has a little bit of a weapon on the end of its stomach foot. So we will put this, yeah, okay, thank you. Thanks, buddy. Give you a little exercise and woke you up a little bit, and I'm going to leave you alone now. Thank you very, very much. So that was a fighting conch. They are awesome. And that is a living sand dollar. So I'm just going to leave that alone. You can see its fringe on the bottom, and you can also see the fringe in one of its little keyholes. Yeah, you can see that cilia moving around. So I'm just going to leave that creature alone. So you can kind of see what I mean. Like I am having so much fun here. There's not a whole lot as far as like shells, but I'm entertained. I am very, very entertained. And we have a collectible sand dollar. Fantastic. Yeah, that's just a little dark area. It's fine. I put all my sand dollars in hydrogen peroxide. It does a really good job of getting it white, and it won't damage the actual sand dollar. Okay, so here is another egg casing. This is from a lightning whelk. It looks just like the pear whelk, but it's a little bigger. These are they're like quarter size versus like the maybe nickel size of the pear whelk. And there's another one. So yeah, and these are going to be all viable. And like the mom attaches the one end. Okay, so now this end, see the little white marks in there? Oh, and a crab. There's all sorts of stuff going on here. Oh, yeah. So, yep, little eggs in there. So each one of those little coin-looking cases are little baby lightning whelks. And it made me wonder, now the lightning whelk babies will eat each other inside those egg casings. So it is a true snail world. And I just wonder how many other things predate the egg casings. I never even thought about that, Because mostly I find them either intact. I don't see them kind of like ripped apart. So I don't know. I don't know about that. All right, we have a live crown conch. Yep, you can see its little proboscis coming out the front. Yep. Having a good old time. That is one messy shell, my friend. All right. Now, the crown conchs and the rose petal talons and the angel wings do all kind of like the same conditions. So it wouldn't be uncommon to find those particular shells in the same place. Another rose petal talon of the pink variety. Lovely. All right, so tied it. I mean, it was nice and low, and I debated. It was kind of a hard decision. Like it's a low tide. Where do I go? Like, do I go to Bunche where there's not really going to be a lot of shells? But yeah, I'm really glad I went. I haven't come here for a while, and this is the most beautiful part of the park. It's all the way at the north end of the island. So if you were to get to Bunche Beach and walk to your right, this is what kind of this green area is what you'd find. So there's not anything there. It's just one of those, I just like to go see it. So pretty much every time I go to Bunche, I just kind of walk that area just to kind of see what's here. And then back to the beach. Now, at this point, I would like to concentrate on perhaps finding a wintle trap or two, or see what other kind of tiny shells. So that little critter we talked about earlier, that little marginella, that is what its shell looks like. And that's what I mean baby cowrie. It has like those little teeth almost. I think they're adorable. I do like a good marginella. And live crown conch. And little baby. You stay here. Yeah, tide pools can be great. I mean, sometimes there's nothing in them, and sometimes they're teeming with life. Now, micro shells. I recently had heard about I didn't really even understand they were a thing. So I did manage to get these too. Now, how did I figure this out? Well, I took a class that was hosted by the Shell Museum over on Sanibel. So I took this class. It was actually pretty awesome. And they literally brought a microscope out onto the beach. So I got to learn about some of the other critters. So when we talk about things that filter feed, that little weird thing, that would be filter fed by somebody, whether it's a scallop, a tunicate. Look, a baby arc. Literally microscopic. So we didn't find any, well, we found like half of a micro shell when I was on with them. And what I wanted was to understand, like, how do you go about doing it? I can't see that great. I found a magnifying glass. And so I was literally practically laying on the ground and I found those two little shells. I did come a little unprepared. I'm like, okay, I have them. Now what do I put them in? So I did put them in my delicates container with the sand dollars, and I just hoped that I would make them back home again, or I would, they would make their way back home. Because when they're literally like a little bit bigger than a grain of sand, I've worked it out since then. But for now, I mean, this stuff is huge compared to the micro shell. So that was another marginella. That's a piece of a bruised nassa. So micro shells are anything that's, I believe it's 5 millimeters. I mean, tiny. Oh. So that is a periwinkle. Oh, it's beautiful. I think that's a mangrove periwinkle. That is gorgeous. Look at the marking on that. They're not a true sea snail, or not really a land snail either. They're kind of somewhere in between. Look at that cute little cross-barred Venus clam. I normally completely ignore them, but why is it when everything's tiny, it's so cute? It's so cute. Oh, a little Gulf dove snail. Yeah, they only get about that big. A little bit bigger than half an inch. So that is a little Gulf dove snail. There's a couple different types of dove snails. Oh, here's a Morton's egg cockle, or a yellow egg cockle. I always find those a bunch. So it's kind of swell. The coloring is a little weird. Like, there shouldn't be that much brown on it. So this was delightful. I had so much. We're not done because I'm going to break out my microscope. So we're not done with those micro shells. We're just kind of ending our day here at Bunche Beach. And what do I see? I see a little, I see color, which is a little unusual. Would you look at that? It's Indian blanket flower, the state flower of Oklahoma. Go figure. I just had never noticed. That was what a beautiful way to leave the beach. Now, Bunche does have a little bit of glass. There's always seems to be glass here. And today I managed to find this rather aggressive looking hook. So I took that off the beach. It only was 1.6 ounces, but we know it adds up. So today was 1.6 ounces. In total, I've removed a little over 85 pounds of garbage from our beaches. And today, it was all about the rose petal talons. It was, frankly, today was about the critters. But I did take a couple of those Sunray Venus clams. There was like a mystery clam on the bottom there. We have some bruised nassas, that dove snail, a ladderhorn snail, looks like a turret, and a bunch of those marginellas. I did pick up a bunch of those rose petal talons, and one of these days I will get around to making one of those shell flowers. There were 2 sand dollars, 1 pear whelk, and then my favorites. There was kind of a pinkish Sunray Venus clam, that little tiny cross-barred Venus clam, and then I did like that periwinkle. Now let's look at some micro shells. So this was just crazy. So that's them, those little itty bitty specks, and I pop them under the microscope. It's a shell. I can't, it just was so cool. Now that pin thing it's literally a push pin. I tried to find something very clean, but once you get under microscope, everything's dirty. And then I figured out I was able to zoom in, and it really didn't do all that much. But what I do think is cool is the fact that I'm going to be able to look for these little micro shells, and we'll be able to kind of see them a little bit better. I realize the quality, I mean, it wasn't a very expensive microscope, but at least we get to see something. And I'm so excited that there's micro shell. I'm going to be looking for them. It's just I'm like a kid in a candy store with these micro shells. That's going to be so cool. Next week we're going to Keewaydin, and I think I want to examine like Keewaydin over the years. I've been going there for many, many years. It's going to be great, but I think I might try something a little different. But anyway, until then, I hope you have yourself a great week, and I'll see you again next Sunday.